Okay, we're live. Oh, got my big jug of water. Got a new time. Been pressed for time today. I may have to cut it short and keep it about an hour. Got a lot of things going on. Went out to the range today. It was drizzly, but tested some of your favorite shotguns. Was fooling around with a couple handguns. Got more issues. And now one more day closer to election, and it does not end. Okay, I guess they invaded Lebanon. Uh, all you see in the news is Trump's carrying on more insults flying and every other thing else. So, never a dull moment. Uh, I myself am going to finish up testing these Turkish shotguns. If I never see a Turkish shotgun again when I'm done with all this, it's going to be too soon. And some of them I get to work well in there. And I was working with the GF25 today, and I can't for the life of me get that operating handle out to disassemble it. And finally, I got the whole damn thing unraveled, and I guess it was loose or something in the where it locks in. So somebody bashed it with a hammer at the factory, so it stayed in there, and it stays in where you have to rip it out with pliers. So I have to do some gunsmithing work on this, which I just thought I'd be cleaning it, and plus I did a barrel honing job on it, and I mean I honed the hell out of it with both the rougher and the finish, and there's still crap in the barrel. What it is or why there's fouling residue in there, I've never seen nothing like it before. However they finish the barrels or whatever the hell they do to them, they're not polished, they're not finished very well, and they just constantly accumulate the plastic. That plastic builds up in there, and unless you got an oversized bronze brush or something to scrub them barrels out, it ain't good. All right. Morning, Mike. Mauser Waffen. All right. Just got the notification. All right. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it don't. I don't know. All right. I don't know about that. But we're doing it a little early today. I'm going to be pressed for time because, like I said, now I got to go back. I got a gun totally disassembled out on the bench in the garage, and I got to do some work on it. Kind of wanted to get this at 1, like I promised everybody, and run this today. And really, like I said, I guess the news about North Carolina didn't get out nationally for days because I still have people calling me from back in New York. My cousins from Chicago are calling or trying to contact me to see if I'm all right, still alive, and all this other stuff. I'm never really in touch with them much, but I'm getting people calling me. I had a subscriber call me last night around 8:30. Called me on the phone just to ask me if I was okay. He wanted to check on me. So all you guys out there that well, most of the guys on the live know what's happening. It's the same group of people come to the live chats, but I have had subscribers and people that follow the channel contact me and ask if I'm all right and everything. So I like to thank everyone, for their thoughts about that. But yeah, very strange. It kind of hasn't got out into the national news for days, and my neighbor, his daughter lived there, and found out from him yesterday. She was all right. I guess when it flooded, it took down the cell towers or something, and she had to get to a point or to a hospital where she can connect her phone and call her father. Uh, and another person I know had a relative missing up there somewhere, but they posted that they got in contact with the relatives and they're all right. So fortunately, nothing tragic has happened to any of my friends or neighbors. Um, and before anybody complains about the noise in the background, they're cutting a tree down somewhere and they're grinding it up right now. So somebody must have had a tree come down or branches come down the street in their yard. Matter of fact, that's what I got to do: is spend some more money. My wife said just take them all down along the uh, perimeter of the property. We got one large one up there. Looks okay, but if it ever did tumble, not going to be good. So the wife said it's cheaper to cut them down than to have it tear half the house in half. So yeah, that's right. After Helena, Joe at Beach, Borders Arch fundraiser. How? Yeah, I heard they're complaining about that. Uh, that Trump was slamming into them again. They're saying that the Republican Party's telling them to lay off, calling them idiots and brain dead and everything. And I guess that strike is going to happen, and that's not a good thing. Uh, now let's see. We'll engage the audience. Start a poll. All right, so we got another and an option. All right, so we got another poll up here. Uh, Something to do. Something to let you voice your opinion. 4th of October surprise. All right, thank you. Yep, you don't have to. It's just something a little extra, something to break up the monotony of it all. So yeah, it's kind of funny that all of this crap is going on right before the election. What are we? 35 days. You know, there yesterday we talked. I don't know if we talked about them trying to change the Constitution. They want a constitutional amendment in case. Yeah, I don't think we did talk about that. That was what I found yesterday. They want a constitutional amendment that if a whole bunch of them in Congress uh, have a mass casualty or something, or political strife or rioting or uh, drone strikes, mass assassination attempts, that each individual should pick 5 people, I guess, that person in office picks 5 people as a replacement, and he submits this. Then, if something bad happens to him, then they can go through this list of 5 people, and in a matter of days, because I forget what the special election or something would take, like several weeks or something like that. And it's very strange. Okay. And also, there's a lot of questions about it, but that's on the table. They need to push that through. Then I heard something that if there was an attack or something, that the normal line of succession from the president would be circumvented, and who's ever in charge of NORAD would be the leader of the country or make the decisions. I'm not quite sure. A lot of bizarre things like this. Okay, and then God only knows what's happening in Europe in terms of military things. Okay. uh, Now I guess in the Middle East they are invading. Excuse me, I have to get some water. And who knows where this is going to go. Usually, when things like this happen, this is what triggers another country to get involved. And I guess they're having drone attacks on all the U.S. ship out there doing convoy duty in the Persian Gulf or the Middle East area. Uh, this is ongoing, but that's the Navy's job. That's what we do, and things like that happen quite often without a full-blown war. Um, but our people are in the way out there. I don't know if they have anything or actually would want to fire on a U.S. ship, even though these assholes do from time to time, and kind of get away with it without us flattening their ass. But you know, we need President Trump to end this. Huh? Well, hopefully he will. I don't know. It's bad. And then everyone thought he was crazy when he said something about them eating the dogs. Okay, I even thought, I said, man, that's a real bad move. But what's happened is, in saying this, maybe it wasn't a bad move. Maybe it was a clever thing. People started to look into this town. You know, Springfield, Ohio. Never heard of the place. A little bit, not a big place. Well, as more people looked into this, a whole array of problems come up. Okay, about this mass immigration stuff and it's illegal immigrants and what they're doing. So once people start, getting attention, they bring another problem out. Okay, this is something there. Springfield, me. Okay, so now this other problem comes out. Then once people start talking about that problem there in Ohio, all of a sudden I see this is a problem in Louisiana. And it's also a problem in Pennsylvania. And all of these towns have one thing in common, being the fact I've worked in manufacturing all my life. The reason I left New York State is because no one that I knew, my trade as a machinist, that region I lived in, you were never out of work unless you wanted to be, because there was all types of manufacturing, from defense plants and work, General Electric and all these other things are making stuff for the military. Uh, Hamilton Digital was a place that manufactured all the cash registers for McDonald's. Okay. there were quite a few places, some of them didn't pay well, but there was a place they made whisk brooms. Okay, some company, I knew some guy's wife worked there. Okay, it wasn't a high paying job, but it was a job. And you know, that's the way it was. The Rust Belt. Then whenever they changed the economy and decided that was, all that simple work or anything, they didn't want to pay us wages. Okay. So all of it went to China. So, when you're making whatever wages in the US with benefits, they got to pay your insurance, paid holidays and that. They get somebody to do the job in China for $60 a month. Okay. So guess what? It's done. And I mean, there was everything shut down. Okay. Just like these places here, they got these little rinky dinky factories making something, paying people minimum wage or, barely over minimum wage. And then you go to Pennsylvania, same thing, another town, another city. It's crumbling. Half the people moved out, half the place is abandoned. The population dropped down, I think, to 40,000 or something. It's like Utica. We had 130,000 people and dropped down close to 50, 48,000 people. I mean, there's sections of the city. It's like when you see in Chicago and Detroit. How that happened is people just leave. Okay. They abandon their property, their homes. They leave them. Okay. And that's what goes on when the economy collapses. So the economy's collapsing, and it's in a lot of blue states. And what they do is when they bring these immigrants, refugees, whatever the hell you want to call them, they bring them in there, and like they said, there's like 2,500 of them show up in a couple months, and they're given vouchers, they're given money, they're allowed to do shit, they're not prosecuted by the law, and like the one guy said, they come work in this factory, they can't get nobody to work for them. Hold on a minute. Okay, sorry about that. A little bit of business. All right, so I'm going to be busy today. Oh shit. All right. Yeah, where were we? Oh yeah, they bring them up there, and the guy said, "This is just my assumption." They bring these people up there and giving them a supplement for being there and having them work in a crappy factory for nothing. He goes, they actually make out quite well. And people like a buddy of mine from high school that's became a slumlord, buying all these houses for a couple $1,000 and then fixing them up and renting them out and charging people like, 800,000 a month for a house you paid 3 grand for. All you got to do is get 3 months rent and you're making money. Okay. So, no, okay. So factory business, yeah, cheap wages. They bring them up there for cheap wages. I guess goes town to do. Okay, Springfield factory need cheap help. Yeah, and that's what it is. Dropped in. Undecided be a big factor. Okay. So also what this does, I think the way the electoral college works is that's adjusted by how many people you have living in an area. So you got these areas like New York State and some other one. Louisiana was another one where people are just abandoning the state, in like Chicago and Detroit. If you look at the population from 40 years ago and you look at what the population is now, there is a huge difference. I mean, really huge. Okay, in them bigger cities. Okay, I don't come from somewhere like Detroit or Chicago, but to shore this up, I believe this is where the politicians are dumping these people in there. Okay, and it's your tax money paying for this shit. All right, and to get laborers that'll work in those factories, because the one cast plant I worked in, their job, they were making car parts. Once they set the machine up, the only thing I had to do is the supervisors go change the tool once every few months. The way they had it, of course, the drills cost a couple $1,000s that they had custom made drills, but that drill would drill into the aluminum for 4 to 5 months. Okay, setting the machine was tricky. Once it was set, and all them people would do is put the parts in, clamp it down, put the parts in, clamp it down, close the door, wait 30 seconds, the other one will come out, unclamp it, pull all the parts out, stack them, count them, this and that, load it. And that's all they do for 8 hours nonstop. Okay, actually, overseas or in a good plant, what they would do is get a damn robot. Okay, they wouldn't even screw around. But that's who they had in there. They had a lot of foreign people in there. Okay, and that's who ran that plant. But they showed up to work every day. They actually did work. Okay, and didn't complain. And actually, they treated me pretty good. I wasn't mean to them, and they liked me. But they're not skilled labor, and they're the ones making your brake calipers and stuff. And everything was just pins and this. They didn't even use micrometers or nothing to check all these friggin' parts. That's what scared the hell out of me. Um, they were supposed to have a QC guy in a room with that fancy machine with the diamond tip on there inspecting these parts. And, they'd hired somebody's son who never did anything, and he'd go through the motions and give me this computer readout of a report, and I'd have to look at it. And some of that stuff couldn't be off a micron. And he was supposed to check a sample every run from every station in that 8 hours. And he did. Then one guy went over there and ran something. They were setting up a new thing for another car part. And when the one guy, the setup man, went there, he went and he said, something ain't right. He goes, I know this can't be right. He goes, because I'm checking it. They're running a machine, it was off a millimeter. And they're inspecting parts on the damn thing and it ain't zeroed out. Okay. I mean, I had to get out of there. It's unreal. Okay. That shit like this goes on, but it does. And that's what happens when you have unskilled people and you pay them nothing and you just have them like gauge stuff and throw it in there. And I mean, I don't know. And the people running the inspection department, they're not paying them crap, because one guy was trying to find a job and he looked and he found a similar job, and he goes, the difference for somebody working in the inspection thing compared to theirs, he goes, it's like a $6 an hour difference. And I said, yeah. I said, this place is screwing these people. Of course, the people in there don't know what the hell they're doing, so it all kind of evens out in the end. I don't know. 50% of country want borders are undecided. I see. I don't know if that's true. I can't see it. Okay, because a lot of people are upset that maybe 50% of the country's a bunch of shallow-minded, brain-dead idiots, that just because and there's so many people out there making these videos. Well, why do you want to vote for her? And they're like, well, because of her policies, this and that. And you go, okay, tell me what policy or what she's done that you approve of. Just tell me exactly. It's just in general, what did she do? And every single one of these nitwits can't answer that. Okay. So if that's the case, then everything's lost. And it's not a wide open border. Wide open border, these people are being brought here. They are being processed. They process them in the town I live in, okay, or close by. They have another abandoned factory that they use. They bring these people in. It's all quiet. Nobody wants you to ask questions. And if you start standing around going, what's this? There's armed security guards that kind of tell you to leave. Okay. This is a systematic thing that is being done. There is no, we open the borders and they all come running in and, oh, gee, wow, whatever. No, these people are being brought here for a reason. They're being allowed to come here in here, and they are being processed by the government. Okay. They're being processed, sent, and put in places for a reason. What the exact reason is, I can only speculate. But this is shit's been going on, and it goes on all over. It's going on globally everywhere. This has happened in England, okay, where they have a problem. In Poland, they're raising holy hell about it. But somehow they voted the more conservative government out, and now they're having problems with foreigners coming in, and all the issues there. It's a big political problem there. And again, like I said, how the hell do these people get from the friggin' Middle East to Belarus? All right. Somebody had to pay money to fly them. They didn't walk. They didn't walk across. Okay. How did these people get from Haiti? Okay. Hang glide. Somebody moved them. Somebody paid for them to be transported. Okay. Whoever gets elected should be looking at this. But the thing is, this is what the powers to be, whoever is running this country or whoever is running the world, okay, there is an organized effort to do this. And part of the reason why is it's diluting your society, it's eroding the society. It erodes the value of your own citizenship. It culturally throws a monkey wrench into everything. All right. And like somebody said, it's one thing for people to emigrate and come, normally. And it's another thing for where 2,000 of these people show up in, like I said, a matter of months. And it just, it's not good. And if you complain or say anything, you're silenced. This is what I've seen. This one guy was interviewing in Pennsylvania. Half the people talking did not want to go on camera, didn't want their face seen, didn't want their name involved. Okay. Uh, that's the scary thing because I don't know if they're on some sort of, for all I know, they're on some sort of state program or something, and where if they speak out or complain about it, it'll just cut their damn money off. Yeah, like I said, wide open border policy helps Democrats in census count to determine electoral state count. This is an underhanded way of doing it because a lot of the places I come from, they're desolate, they're abandoned, and the Democrats run everything up there. Okay, so now they're boosting their thing to raise their electoral count. Okay, immigration policy maintains democratic power and voting power and bigger government to provide welfare. That's how they're going to stay in power. Exactly, governments are all complicit to this, and that's true. That's what we're starting to see. Okay, and that's what's going on. And really, somebody I knew, I was in a shop and was talking, and the owner goes, "Okay, look, say they go and elect, change everybody. For you're saying all these people, vote them, change the shift the power, and this and that." He goes, the situation and the things that have happened, like these illegal aliens or people getting immigrant status, or not immigrant, refugee status. Now, see, if these people are here on refugee status, that's a different ballgame. That's not illegal immigration. They are here and protected by agreement of the government if they got a white card. Okay, this is a different ballgame. This ain't just a bunch of people that snuck in the middle of the night and are picking crops or something. You can find them pretty easily. These people are being supported and given money from the government. They're not some person that snuck in under the wire. See, that's where they're saying is it snuck in under the wire and is running loose, hoping not to get caught working under the table. These people are here because the government brought them here, and these people are not going away being arrested or going to be removed. Okay. See, this is where when everyone says, "Oh, just open the borders," and this, that's not what the hell is going on here. Okay, and nobody wants to point to it. That probably, who knows? Maybe I'll get burned by running my mouth on this live broadcast. I don't care anymore. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. All this nonsense. Ugh. But what are you going to do? You know, what can you do? So now we got that rant out about the illegal immigration. In Illinois, they passed laws that allowed some of these illegals to be law enforcement. Yes, the reason they did that in Utica because we had so many Bosnians there. Nobody quite spoke. I guess they call it Bosnian Croat, but it's whatever they spoke in Yugoslavia. Okay. Uh, it's not it's similar. It's a Slavic language. It's similar to Russian or Polish. And the thing is, if you speak Russian, all of the people that came as refugees, because they were all taught Russian like we're taught a second language in school, they were all taught Russian. So anybody, I told them, anybody over the age of 40, you speak Russian to them, I don't give a shit what the hell they say, they understand you. And their language it's different, but if you understand one, you kind of understand the other, or you learn the words a little dealing with them every day. But there was one fella. he was quite well educated. He spoke English excellently. He had a high college degree, and he was there, the refugee, and he goes, because of my education and what I'm doing, they want me. He goes, now I'm a political target. He goes, they want me on the police force, and he goes, they want me on the police force because of my language skills and that. And he goes, this is all politically motivated and that. And he goes, I do not want to be on the police force, and I don't want to get involved. And he kind of told me he hated that. But yeah, if they have a working knowledge of English, the law enforcement has no choice than to try to get these people, because there was a big thing for these people that were fluent in English to join the police force. Um, that way, when they were called, and these people are freaking out or going crazy and nobody speaks the damn language, what do you do? You need people. There were so many people from this country and spoke that language. You needed people who spoke the language, and they will make refugees or people non-citizens. They will put them on law enforcement. I've seen it happen, and that's what's going on. You know, that's why where I live, I'm the person. I'm a Yankee. I'm the person from outside here, so I feel comfortable with that. Uh, yeah, this strike is a distraction. Supposedly they gone into Lebanon. They've invaded Lebanon today. Uh, you got this strike that they say is going to create complete mayhem. Uh, to what degree I don't know. Okay, and it goes by. I was listening to these people's opinion that even a day costs billions of dollars, which I understand that, but will throw the supply chain off, which I kind of doubt. Uh, if they're in unison, though, and they don't unload any damn ships at all, okay, up and down the East Coast for a day, yeah, that's kind of every day that passes. And the thing is, what's making the Democrats look bad, there's a way that they could do something to stop this, okay, to invoke something, to force it. It was done before, okay. There's a way that they could do this. Now, they won't do that, but yet they make you, force you to make a medical decision that you don't want to do, or you can't work or travel, okay. That's the thing I don't understand, and that's why we have to do something. Well, we, if they could ever do something to hold these people accountable for their actions, it's just insane. Let's see what we got. Okay, 56% think that the longshoreman strike is bad. 11% say no, and 33% say I don't know. Oh, obviously you never hung out around the docks and weren't a roustabout or yard bird. Uh, but it is bad. It's not good when you shut the ports down. It's not good for anybody. All right, Middle East blowing up. Anybody got an update on what the hell is going on? Uh, you know, what's going on with the Middle East and all this other crap? Because I haven't. I've been out all morning. I was out on the range. I was making some content. I got back. I had a breakdown. And I got a call. Somebody wants a. I gotta leave. I will leave. It's 40 minutes. Yeah, we're gonna do an hour today. I'm gonna cut it off because I gotta get everything in the garage straightened out and back up and then I gotta take off this afternoon. Uh, wife ain't gonna like that, but It's a living. It's a living. Yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, there's always something to talk about. Really, I got Verizon. They always did. They upgraded stuff. All that trouble I had loading my videos because the internet speed sucked. Okay, and then they said, well, we're gonna upgrade the servers and this and that, and you're gonna get faster speeds, and we're not gonna charge you more money. Oh, and then those problems kind of went away. But yeah, they're another bunch of assholes. I don't trust them as far as I can see them. But yeah, all right. So we got 9 people. Let's see how our voting went. We got 9 votes, so it looks like everybody showed up, voted in a poll. So with the narrow margin of 6%, we got over 50% that say yes, this is a problem. 11% saying no, and 33% saying they don't, which is it's pretty cool. Because really, if you're not following it, something like that, but it is going to be an issue. How bad of an issue? I don't know. I guess my wife was reading off the companies, which of course Walmart is on top of the list, Target, and then one or two of the places that sell appliances and electronics. Because I don't believe any of them are made in the United States anymore. So Target was another one, clothing and all that other crap. Uh, but I have to admit, when I was hanging around the port of LA, okay, they built my ship down there, and we were in there, and we hung out around there. And I used to see a lot of the stuff when I was down in Long Beach, steaming in and out of the port of Los Angeles, which is quite large. Actually, they shut down the naval base and extended the port of Los Angeles out there, is where my naval base was. And there are a shitload of reefers. They used to come from Eastern Europe, and that reefers or refrigeration ships. Um, and they'd have it on a Roman reefer or whatever was another one. I guess they bring all kinds of food, frozen food, fish and meat or whatever. Uh, and there was something out there every day. And I think once a month the car carriers came, and that was like a aircraft carrier with a shoebox on top was full of vehicles. Toyota used to bring them, and that about once a month. And they were quite large ships. Okay, tankers, yeah, they're always around. And the weird thing is, the real big ones, they would park them out a ways in the ocean. And we come out of breakwater and drive by them, and from the main deck of my ship, if you jumped off, might have been 10, 12 foot to hit the water, maybe not even that. Okay. And we pull up next to these super tankers, and you look up, like a 1-story building, and you'd see their main deck, and we're piddling ass by. We go out for a month, and they pump that son of a bitch out. And we come back to where you see that snout on the bow out of the water, and it's up there. It's like, you know, 20 stories to where that main deck is. That's how much of that damn giant ship is underwater when it's full. And when they pump out them cargo tanks, that thing goes up. That's a huge ship. So when you see them things bend and snap and that them things are gigantic. Same with the containers. Container ships come in different sizes, but when they're riding low in the water, I guess all they do is stack them boxes down, and you see them where they're stacked up high on the top of the deck and up, you know, I don't know how many feet, 50, 60 feet up high. Um, it really ain't nothing to the ship other than a huge amount of cargo they got lashed down to it, and you watch them get hit and start snapping and twisting, cargo flying out, Connex boxes going everywhere. Yeah. All right. I wish for once we would take care of our own problems before we take care of the world problems. But that's a nice thought. But when you're a global superpower and the headquarters for all kinds of weird stuff, that ain't going to happen. Ever since World War II, um, I guess basically we fought two wars. We put out a lot, and like they told me as a naval cadet, going back to that, the only reason we won World War II is we could build ships, some Liberty ships. We could build ships faster and fill them with tanks, planes, bombs, ammunition, and people, and send them out on the water. We can build more ships than the Germans could deploy the torpedoes with all of their submarines to sink them. That was from a naval captain, my naval instructor, a 30-year man, Navy Cross winner, who's a submariner. He told me that's just the truth. The Germans couldn't get enough subs and enough torpedoes to sink the ships. He goes, we could just build them faster. And he goes, the first years of the war, uh, he goes, we lost a lot of ships until anti-submarine warfare was developed. Ball's in Iran's court now. Have they said anything? They'll call Biden for a loan, start a war. So yeah, that was just the simple truth. Is this country could produce more than our enemies could destroy. Okay, that's how we won. It was industrial might. It was the backbone of what made this country great. Not, we didn't have an advanced military or any of this other stuff. Actually, the Germans outclassed us in a lot of our equipment, but we just could. Industrial might is how we won World War II, which was actually two separate wars that we fought at the same time. And after World War II, the whole world changed, okay, and how things are done, and how this country runs, who runs this country, and just a lot of the things that we do. Now, it's a nice thought to say, isolationism, I'm all for it. To hell with everybody else, let them do what they want. But we've kind of undermined the whole fabric of things, and nobody will admit how much we control globally, not directly but indirectly, how much this country or whoever's running it or behind it manipulates and controls things to an extensive degree to where that can never happen. That's why we have these wars in the Middle East. That's why we have all this. It's not a actual war of someone. They say, oh, they blew down the Twin Towers, so we got. All right, so they go into these countries and the military folds up in a month. Okay, now what? Okay, then it's we're there to enforce or to change this society through military force, which just ends up costing the lives of an awful lot of our servicemen. And after 20 years of this nonsense, they realize that it ain't gonna work. You know. Yeah, they all did. Crop all of it. You think another 200 grenades coming? That's a good point there. Do you think another 2008 is coming sooner rather than later? Yes, I'm kind of surprised it didn't happen yet, especially what the left will do if Trump wins. Yes, because this country has a way of doing that. It was like when Obama got voted in for office. I'm not saying nothing about him one way or the other. Guy gets voted in office, housing bubble bursts. And I mean, I seen this coming. Everybody and anyone blamed this guy. It was all Obama's fault. He hasn't been in office a month, and I think the only bill he signed was God knows what, some insignificant piece of legislature. Really didn't mean much. But yeah, everyone blamed him for that financial disaster and that crash, which is something that the bankers set up. They did this deliberately, and this was used as an economic weapon. That's why I guess we own Iceland now, more or less. Okay, this little tiny country, it was wiped out. Okay, money wise, they were pretty good financially. It's small times, this and that. You know, you don't hear about Iceland starting wars or anything like that. They were just some rinky-dink country that's like on top of you know, iceberg, and this crash destroyed them financially, crippled them. Okay, and country do I know? And this is all part of this economic thing. And this crash, if there's another crash, not only people are going to get hurt. I mean, I stopped putting money in a 401k, so I really didn't lose nothing other than just being unemployed. Okay, whatever money I had, it stayed where it is, and we were lucky. The state I lived in, our property value went down 8 or 9% because we didn't have this crazy stuff where they were assessing my house. You know, one year it's say 150,000, and they come back 6 months later and go, "Oh wow, your house is worth 250,000 now." So a lot of these people, I think Arizona or Utah or something, they showed these people they own this house, 90 grand. So housing market goes up, they tell them, "Hey, your house is worth 190,000." They go, "Wow, you know, I paid that off halfway, so I got over 100,000 in equity," and they're unemployed. So they go, "Let me take out a home loan." So now they got 100 grand to live on, and then next thing you know, a year later, hey, your house is worth 290,000, and they take out another. They take the equity out of the home. Okay, so then the crash comes, and this happened to somebody I know that lived in Chicago. Did the same thing. The house is worth 140,000. They borrowed 350,000 on it. Was using the money to repair it and pay bills and do stuff. And then all of a sudden, when the bubble burst, all of them houses went right back to where they were at 90,000 and 100 and a half. But yet you owe 350 on it. Now what? Okay, and this is what caught. Now that was allowed in this state. They didn't. They may have went up a little, but like I said, the value of my house only went down less than 10%, eight, 8 or 9 or something on average. You know, there could have been areas where people were swindling you, but yes, if that happens again, uh, but this time, I don't know how many trillion in debt we were at that point in time, but now it's to where it's all lost. You know, okay, if not of 2008, I bet it'll be like the years after the world wars where the U.S. economy was suffering. Um, yeah, um, Actually, what happened, they never did get over the social reforms of the Depression, which started in 1930, all the way there. There was no um, recovery. All the recovery things did not work. All of Roosevelt's plans did not work. What happened was the war started a lot earlier in Europe, and what happened is our factories started producing um, war material long before we were in the war in 1942. It started like 1937, 38, and that is the only thing that got our economy started again. And this is going all the way back to where it failed. Now, if you look at the economy prior to the Great Depression of 1930, if you look back from the 1870s to the turn of the century, this country had, you know, capitalism, the ups and downs. There were huge surges and recessions and depressions in this. It was an unregulated economy. There were people like the Vanderbilts in the 1850s or something that their personal wealth was more than what the government had in the treasury. There were individuals that had more money than the United States government did. Okay. And there were all kinds of things. And then you had technology, just like we had the internet, we had Facebook, and this, and these people are billionaires. Well, you had railroads, you had automobiles and oil that was needed. And actually, the oil thing was more for lights than it was for vehicles. Locomotives run by steam, which was either coal or wood. And then the oil, that's why they kill all the friggin' whales. They're using the whale oil as a machine lubricant and as uh, a fuel source for your lamps in the house because they didn't have electricity. And then they found kerosene. Kerosene is much better and cheaper and didn't have to kill all the damn whales. But surprisingly enough, whale oil is still a highly desirable fluid for mechanisms and clocks and stuff. It's still used today. You know, even though because of the demand for it, we almost hunted the damn things into extinction. Okay. And it's just how it's a repeat. What's going on now is just a repeat of what happened back in the old days. Okay. The Industrial Revolution. You know, that somebody caught on to the idea, hey, we got these factories, we're making little alarm clocks and toasters and radios. Why don't we pay the peons a little more so they can make enough money to buy our products? And that's how capitalism started and commercialism. You know, instead of paying you 3 cents an hour, they paid you 20 cents an hour. So you had a little extra money to buy all the nifty little things you were assembling in the factory, you know. Yeah, and but they found out in World War II, war is really good, real good money. Okay, and the best thing is, like nuclear weapons, they ain't exactly cheap. They built them all, never used them, and now they make money disassembling the leftovers. Uh, Pretty profitable. And if you look at the amount during the Cold War, the amount of equipment we made, I'm talking about people. Go look up F-15s, F-16s, find out how many were made. B-52 bombers, find out how many of them were made over the course of that weapons production. Okay. After World War One, they built 200 destroyers. Okay. And Navy, as usual, like my ship, uh, they were called destroyer escorts or smaller ship. My ship was smaller, faster, and designed for guided missile frigates for anti-aircraft, anti-submarine warfare. We weren't quite set up for shore bombardment or anything like that. Uh, and we would be on the outer perimeter when a carrier moved. And you had the destroyers. Now, the destroyers did the same thing we did. We were a bigger ship, had 100 more men on them, but they all had like a 5-inch gun, where a destroyer could get up close to bombard on land. Okay, so they had a little bit more of a different job mission than us. Okay, then you went up to cruisers and light cruisers back in the days when the ships used to slug it out. But after World War II, it was all aircraft carriers. Um, so now what they do is a cruiser's a bigger ship, and actually it had larger rocket systems that go farther. And they would guard the carrier, and the carrier is the thing that, you know, it's a mobile air base. And then your amphibs, they haul the Marines and stuff around, tanks and all that other stuff. But that's the way it was built up. And I mean, we always had at least 50 destroyers, 50 frigates, okay, minimum. And I forget, there were 14 carrier battle groups when I was in the Navy, and they cut that down to 6. I have no idea how many they have. Now, you can go on a website and see where every ship in the United States Navy is at this current moment, every surface ship, which means that, you know, Ronnie Reagan wanted a 600 ship fleet, and I don't know how many ships we got in the goddamn Navy now, a couple hundred, you know, surface combatants at least. But I don't know. But yeah, it's good money. And all our shipyards are closed. So if we got to do that tomorrow, we ain't building no ships going to war. Wartime. Well, they use drones, rockets, stuff like that. That's what they build. You'll never see it go back to many ships or soldiers or anything like that. These yahoos are sitting in a trailer somewhere in Arizona, blasting somebody on the other side of the world with a little drone that if you fuel it, I don't know how long they can fly, days on end, they can be on station up there. You know, that's why the military's changed too. That's another thing we gotta look at. Well, guys, the 1 hour's up. I got stuff to do. I have to cut it short today. I will be on again at 1 o'clock tomorrow, doing our daily countdown. It'll give me some time in the morning to prepare for the live broadcast. But once again, gentlemen, thank you all for showing up. And I'll be back tomorrow, and we can see what'll be there to discuss then. All right. Thank you for showing up, and have a great day, guys.